Hello, everyone. Russ of Aquariumax Pets here with Matteo. Matteo is also known as the Isopods Master, and he is from Italy and working with some various species of isopod, including some Italian native species that are not well known in the hobby at all. And so we're going to learn more about those today. So, Matteo, can you introduce yourself just a little bit?
Hi, so as Russ said, I'm Matteo Ganz, and I started breeding isopods after or like during COVID, and from then on, I kept going. And first, I focused on Asiatic species, so Cubaris, Merulonella, stuff like that. But then I fell in love with native species from Europe generally, but especially in Italy. Yes, so subgenus Marginiferum with Armadillidium tivolense, Rufoi, and other species.
Okay. So do you still keep some of the Asiatic species, or have you focused your passion on
Yeah.
just your natives now?
I'm still keeping one or two easy and nice appealing species, but other than that, only European species. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Well, I want to welcome some of the people who are here in the stream. There's a lot of people here already, it looks like. We've got Aunt Cindy Skinks, and I don't know how to pronounce that, but it starts with two A's. And Wendy, Major WD, Terjo, Laura Taylor, Julie Moore, Frank the Tank, Green Jedi Monkey. Um, let's see. Am I missing anybody? 503, Sean Meister, and Gabe. Olenek is here as well. Kevin Zay is here. The Pets is here. If I missed anybody, Theropod Hunter, Splatter Jack, Hissy Fit, and anybody that I missed, I apologize. Not intended. First Class Fish, Ruthless, Wow, lots of people are here. This is great. Okay, so Matteo, can I ask you, what made you decide to work with isopods? You said it happened during COVID, but what started you?
Yeah, so I started a few years back keeping geckos, and at shows I always saw these tiny little crustaceans, which are isopods, and I fell in love with them at first sight. But I always was a bit worried on how to keep them, how to probably breed them, and stuff like that. So at the end, eventually with COVID, I was locked in my house, and I decided to get some species. I started with vulgare, Armadillidium vulgare, the most common one, and from then on, I've started with bioactive systems, or just keeping them as pets, of course.
All right, great. So question Theropod Hunter had for you. Aren't Armadillidium gestroi an Italian species?
Yeah, absolutely. They are from a coastal region in north west Italy, and yeah, they actually remind of some species of the Marginiferum group, which is the one I'm focusing on. But they are quite different in terms of yeah, anatomy and distribution.
Okay. Yeah, I've noticed some records for gestroi around the Liguria region. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Many species. I got quite new species for the hobby like last year, but it was only two females, so it didn't go well. Armadillidium, I think it was. I don't remember.
But it was,
Yeah.
it didn't have enough to get them going.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So it looks like Splatter Jack has collected Armadillidium tirolense. Nice. This was something you were telling me before the stream started,
Yeah,
that different phenotypes based on location.
absolutely. Yeah, we have. So the last revision of the subgenus was written by Arcangeli in like mid 20th century, so quite like 50, 60 or more years ago. So it's quite old, and it would need to be revised, because there are of Tirolense we have a population in Lake Iseo, which is on the western part of Italy, northern Italy. Then we have a population on Lake Garda, which is approximately at the center, and then another one on Monte Grappa, which is on the eastern side, almost like more close to Venice and cities like and they all are completely different, one from each other. So we are not even sure they are actually the same species, because of course, they might be all different species.
Okay. So there's the Armadillidium castellaccia as well. That's Italian as well, right?
Yeah, Castellaccia, I think the Latin name is Armadillidium. Oh God, they are from Sicily, Sicily and Sardinia as well, another island. They are Armadillidium badium.
Badium, that's the one. Yeah, I'd forgotten it. Yeah. So from Sicily and Sardinia. Okay. All right. So I have a Patreon question from Gabe, and I noticed Gabe was here in the chat. So basically, Gabe was really excited for the stream and was very curious about the regulation of the isopod hobby in Italy. Here in the US, we have species that are regulated. You have to have a containment facility to get certain species and permits and so on to ship them. So if you can tell us how that compares to the regulation in Italy.
Yeah, so in Italy, isopods are not in the Berna Convention, which is a convention that regulates collecting wild animals. They forgot, honestly, to put them in. Therefore, you can legally collect them outside of like natural parks or limited areas. So you can collect them and keep them. We don't have any illegal species to keep or stuff like that. But you are not allowed to legally ship isopods, mostly because curious laws. So you could ship them if you looked at state laws, not if you look at curious laws. So that's the only.
Okay, so you can purchase them and they can move within the country, but shipping them outside of the country, you can't move them?
No, also inside the country.
Oh, from region to region.
Yeah, like you can actually people ship them all the time, so it is not something impossible or hard to do. But legally, it is a bit uncertain whether it is possible or not to ship them also inside the country.
Okay, got it. What about having exotic isopods from other countries into Italy? Is it difficult to, you have legal issues getting them into the country or anything like that?
Yeah, you have to do, you can get permits if you are a facility, but it is incredibly difficult. Therefore, you need to do it all illegally.
Got it.
You can't import legally without permits.
Okay. So in some ways, it's similar to the situation going on here in that we have isopods that you can legally ship with permits, but a lot of people ignore the permits, and then you have isopods that you can't have unless you have very special facilities and permits, but people also ignore that too. Okay. So, all right. Good to know. Well, how about you tell us about, we can start looking into the species that we discussed a little bit. What would you like to start with?
So I think I'm keeping now like couple species of the ones I mentioned. I had some troubles during winter because I wasn't home, so it was a rough winter and I lost some. But I'm now keeping Tirolense and Rufoi, so I can show you them. Rufoi is an endemic species from Verona, which is in northern Italy, close to Venice. And it was described by Professor Arcangeli from a very located area in the province. It is actually more widespread, even though we still haven't found any outside Verona. Other than that, they are quite big. They reach 1.5 centimeters, something like that, even more some localities. And they can be with a grayish skirt, so almost without a skirt, or orange, white. They are very variable, and I will show you them if I can enter. I was trying to find the link. Okay. I'm working with 3 localities. Yeah, 3 localities. One from actually close to my home in Verona, and the other ones from a bit more farther, including the original location.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm going to try to mute your mute your camera there and see if that. Okay, you're okay. That seems to be working.
Okay.
As we're doing this, we just got a super chat from Hissy Fit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hissy Fit. So, Matteo, what is your all-time favorite isopod?
That's hard. So, if we are talking about hobby isopods, probably something like Laureola, like White Skull, or stuff like that. But I also love Armadillidium species, Echin Armadillidium, which I recently collected, the Croatian spiky isopods. If we are talking generally not in the hobby, probably the Calmanesia from Madagascar, the huge spikes. They have huge spikes, super long spikes, or yeah, probably Calmanesia. Spiky are the best.
I'll have to see that. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. Thank you again, Hissy Fit. Great question. And you said you collected some in Croatia?
Yeah, recently? I collected. I went to Croatia a couple of weeks ago, and I collected these spiky ones, very small ones. Like there's like 3 or 4 people in the hobby keeping them, and they are amazing.
Awesome.
I will show you them as well.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay, so I should have entered the call from the. Okay.
Yes, there you are.
Can I?
And I'll switch it to solo layout as soon as you're ready to show them. I'll switch it to solo so we can just see that.
I wanted to try to flip my my camera, but I don't know if it's possible.
Oh, you should be able to do that in settings. There should be
in
a place.
settings. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yep.
I will take out my macro lens in just a second.
Cool. We'll get that set up.
So we will start with the Armadillidium rufoi. I have a whole bunch of species here. Let me grab my LED. So this is the first one. Can you hear me in the meantime? Yeah.
Yep. You're coming
Okay.
through just fine. Yep. I'm going to switch you to solo layout now so we can see better.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so here you can see.
Ooh.
Can you see?
Yes. Yeah, they look really nice.
Okay. I will try to get them up. This is the original location.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping them in a very basic setup because I didn't have any other else. But I will show you some more specific setup later.
Okay. Yeah, those look like you were saying, a little bit like Gestroi, but
Yeah, exactly.
also distinct.
Yeah, a bit wider and without the famous skirt of Gestro. Yeah.
And they look very robust too.
Yeah, absolutely. They are not the easiest to care for because they are very sensitive to wrong conditions. So definitely not a beginner species. But they are not also, when they are captive bred, they are not too hard. This is another location, more precisely a coloration I'm working on, which
Mm-hmm.
is high white. Let's see.
Oh wow! Yeah, very,
Even bigger and whiter.
yeah, and
White
a very
stripe.
nice skirt.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I was telling you before, since they are all found in huge rock walls,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to keep them as elevated as possible. These are small enclosures, so it's not easy to do so. But let's see, I have some other ones in a bigger enclosure here. Oops. So this is a bigger enclosure with orange ones.
Oh, with a lot of rock work sticking up.
Yeah, exactly. High rocks. So here's the orange ones.
Oh, so they have an orange skirt as opposed to the white skirt as opposed to the gray skirt.
Exactly. Yeah.
So almost like Armadillidium Montenegro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are Werneri.
Right. Also similar to those. Yes.
In fact, actually, they when they were described, they thought about moving Werneri into the same subgenus as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So we'll skip to some other species. So to Tirolense. These are from Lake Iseo. They are a bit smaller compared to other species. Here's one. Under here, maybe. Yeah. A few other ones.
Oh, there they go.
Yeah. Very colorful.
They remind me a little bit of pill millipedes.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, I'm also keeping those, but yeah, some other species. I'm keeping them in a bit of different setup. So
Mhm.
also with the high these are wood
Mhm.
plants, moss, stuff like that. They seem to be doing just fine, so I'm happy with them. And they are way easier to care for compared to the other Rufoi, for example.
Okay. What would you say is the
The,
most difficult thing about the difficulty and the difference between Rufoi and Tirolense?
uh, probably Rufoi are more sensitive to uh, heat or low temperatures and humidity, so they need a bit of a more precise standard compared to Tirolense.
Okay.
This is another example of a enclosure uh, with the rock. This is for Tirolense, but they are residing, so I can find them now.
And you were saying they tend to come out at night quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They only come out at night. At daytime, you need to like look for them real good. Other than that, otherwise, it's super difficult. I have another species here, which is not as exciting as those, but it's also uh, found in northern Italy, and it's a bit more widespread in the hobby. It's Porcellus finicornis.
Oh yeah.
Uh, let's see if I can find out. There's a baby. Um, oh, there's one.
Oh yeah. So excuse me. It looks like that type has quite a bit of light markings on it.
Yeah, white markings and high yellow as well,
Yeah.
but they are also quite different. These ones.
Excuse me.
We have more uh, brownish ones as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are they? Is this a mix of just the phenotypes come out this way in the groups that you find?
Yeah, I this is the only group of I found, and they have bred, but still small babies. So I still haven't gotten any phenotypes or weird stuff. So,
Okay.
in the future, hopefully, yes.
Makes sense.
Let's okay. I think I have one more thing. If I can find it. Wait a second. This is quite exciting species. It's called Armadillidium baldense, and we have only found a few specimens. So I only kept one for to picture in document. I'm trying to find small, unfortunately. No, I can't find it, unfortunately. Okay. No, nothing. Okay. I will get exit from this device.
Oh, here.
Mm,
Okay. I'm gonna try it again. Sounds good.
okay.
Yep. That was working pretty well. So it'll probably be fine once we get it going again.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fun to see such different isopods.
Sorry.
It's fun to see such different isopods. We don't see
Yeah.
things like this a whole lot here. So
hmm I saw that Tirolense, at least Tirolense, and probably also Rufoi entered the US hobby
mhm.
last year, but yeah, hopefully other species can enter it as well.
They're just it's amazing what is out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Many. Oh, go ahead.
No. Even, I was saying that even when you think there's not cool isopods, you can always find some interesting things everywhere, basically.
True.
Okay. Do you want to show the videos?
Sure. Yeah. So to introduce these videos, you want to introduce a little bit
Yeah.
do you want to do the pictures first or the videos?
Pictures could work too.
Okay. And if you can just give us some background on these pictures.
So these are pictures taken by my friend Julius, who often can collect with me. And he has glass setups for Tirolense and other species, which I basically don't have. So I thought it was a nice thing to see what mine looks like. So a more standard setup with rocks but in a plastic box, and what it can be done with a bit more work and glass enclosures, plants. So this is actually quite similar to what they would live in nature. So these huge rock walls, usually they even don't have plants. They feed mostly on algae and fungi, so stuff like that. And I found them at like even 20 meters above the ground.
Wow. That's interesting. So you find that they're not big on munching on the plants in the
No.
vivarium. That's great, because
No,
I was going to ask about that, because all these ferns and mosses that many of the armadillidium like to munch on.
Yeah, no, probably moss, maybe a bit more, but plants usually don't. They don't eat plants that much because in their natural habitat, they rarely live close to them.
That's cool. And then here's a close up of one of the. And which one is this? Is this Rufoi here?
No, it's Armadillidium tirolense, a new locality from the western side of the lake.
Okay.
Lake Garda.
Great. So we have some questions here. Let's see. I'm trying to find the questions. Okay, 503 has a question. What season is it easiest for you to be successful in finding isopods?
So I collect during all seasons, basically. Probably winter is the worst one, because of course it's very cold in northern Italy, and they almost never come out. The best one are spring and fall, when temperatures are like roughly from 15 to 20 degrees. But yeah, the main thing that you need when you are looking for isopods is rain.
Okay.
So if you have rain, then you will almost surely find them. If it's too dry, the terrain is too dry, you won't find basically any.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. That seems similar to how we collect them here. So 503 had another question. If you or your friend keep native springtails or other springtails, for that matter,
yeah, I'm keeping orange ones, which are, I think, Yokanura something like that, but not local. I have found many species, local species, which I don't keep. But if you want pictures or infos, you can text me on Instagram, and you can find some in my profile as well. Yeah.
Okay, great. So for everyone's benefit here, you can notice that at the bottom of the screen, we have Matteo's information from Instagram right there. So you can find him easily, and also put the link. I put it in the chat, and I just put it in the chat again, so it's easy to get to, so you can contact him. Frank has a question about the moisture in the setup. Is there a moisture gradient, or how's that work?
Yeah, so I don't use instruments to regulate moisture, but basically I try to keep, as many other species, half of the setup more moist, while the other one is a bit drier. And then that's it. Basically, I'm starting to keep them in my how do you say, the under part of the house?
The substrate?
No. The where
The
when
base?
you keep, yeah, the base, like the basement.
Oh, okay, of the bottom of the enclosure.
Basement. No. In my house.
Oh, in the house. Oh, okay. Your house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
basement.
setup. So it keeps the whole enclosure moisture and cooler.
Okay, got it. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
confused for a minute there. Yeah,
No,
basement. Okay, cool. And do you find that these different species you showed us, Tirolense and Rufoi and so on, do they have, you were saying earlier they have different requirements, and partly that was, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so they all live in similar places, in habitats. But the main difference I encountered is that, especially with the wild caught specimens, Tirolense are a bit more hardy than Rufoi. So you can keep them even in a bit drier, on the drier side compared to Rufoi, which needs a higher level of humidity. It's important to supply them with a good source of calcium, and I also use limestone, so supplements like this, because of course they wouldn't live in on the ground, but generally on rockwoods. And we also noticed that with the captive bred and born specimens, they are a bit smaller and sometimes less colorful compared to wild caught, because probably they eat some types of algae, fungi, or some supplements we are not giving them, and they grow a bit less.
Okay, and that it makes sense that if they're eating things like algae, that they would have some of the natural colorants like astaxanthins or carotenoids.
Exactly. Yeah.
Give them more colors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if supplementation with astaxanthins or carotenoids would help with that.
I would like to. I was thinking about trying with carotenoids, but I still haven't had the chance to try. So because with the wild caught specimens, even after months, they don't lose coloration, while captive bred specimens do lose a bit of the coloration.
And this is an interesting thing that I would like to bring up, that some people have expressed, not here in the stream, but just some people have expressed kind of a negative attitude towards supplementation with things like carotenoids or astaxanthins, saying it's not natural. But actually, since they are probably getting those same things in the wild from their food, my opinion is that it is natural to provide those. It's more natural to
Exactly.
provide them than not provide them.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Like maybe with species with more species that live on the terrain underground or places like that, they probably don't assume that quantities like other species. But when you look at Rufoi, Tirolense, Germanicum habitats, they will eat tons of carotenoids and other supplements like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So 503 is asking if you culture any algae or fungi from where you find them to feed them.
No, absolutely not. Actually, I should try, but I have zero knowledge about this. A bit, I yeah. So I know a bit of algae. How do you say algae? Yeah.
You can say algae or algae. A lot of people in the US
Okay.
say algae.
Okay. So I have a bit more knowledge on algae. But fungi, I honestly don't know, wouldn't know where to begin when culturing them. But it would be nice to try.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hissyfit is wondering about color with ultraviolet light, if that would be something.
Actually, I don't think so because they hide in crevices and holes in the rock all the time during daytime, so they are not affected by UV. And even when you're culturing them, they hide almost all the time under barks or or rocks. So I don't
They're
think
not
so.
very day active or bold isopods.
No,
More
absolutely not. They are very active in setups. Super interesting to watch, climbing, munching, stuff like that. But no, not in the wild. I found them only 2 times during daylight of the
Okay.
many I went looking for.
So they're day active in a captive environment, but not in the wild. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay. So Green Jedi Monkey was saying that some glow under UV, like the yellow spiky ones. The Pseudo Laureala atlantica is, I believe, that species, yellow spiky. And
Exactly.
I've actually seen some photos of some other types, including Trichurina tomentosa will
Yeah.
fluoresce under, parts of them will fluoresce under blacklight, but only in certain wavelengths of UV
Okay.
light. So a normal UV flashlight you might use for scorpions doesn't work on them. But if you get one that's the right nanometers, it will work.
It works. Okay, that's cool. I've seen in person Pseudolaureola atlantica. I pictured them at the Toulouse Museum in France, along with some other very interesting species like Pseudarmadillo gillianus, stuff like that. But honestly, they were very old specimens, so even the coloration faded away, and they were only white.
Okay. Yeah, it's unfortunately isopods don't retain colors very well in most situations
Yeah.
when they're preserved.
When you preserve them in alcohol, or even when you coat them in silver or gold, they lose all the coloration.
Okay, let's see. So Splatterjack has a question for you. Armadillidium ponelense.
Yeah, so they are the most tricky one to find. I've never actually went there looking for them. I know a couple of friends, including Julius, the one that took the pictures, found them. they are incredibly difficult and rare to find. So you will only like if you go 5 times, maybe one you get lucky and you can find them. The other ones just you don't find them. They also live in rock walls, but they are smaller. Like I think they reach 1 centimeter or so a bit smaller than the other ones, and much more located than in small spots.
So they have a very restricted range.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. What did the Ponalense look like?
They actually are quite similar to Valdense, which I couldn't show. I have some pictures. They are smaller with a whitish skirt, but other than that, they have some spots on them. Let me try to find them. I can I share my screen?
Let me see. I've never done that from the standpoint of a guest, so I'm not sure. There may be a way to do it.
Maybe otherwise I oh yeah, okay. For example, like I don't know, this one. It's not the right one, but I need to get the link.
Okay, I'm sharing. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yes, thank you, Frank the Tank. Yeah, everyone who hits the like button, that will help a lot to get more people to see this stream. So if you haven't clicked the like button, please go ahead and do it if you'd like to.
Okay, almost done.
And congrats on the rubber duck, Tobias. Oh, here we go, an iNaturalist.
Yeah, if it downloads. So I have some more pictures of other localities of Tirolense as well. These are the Rufoi. These are another locality of Tirolense.
Can you enlarge that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
These are from Montegrappa.
So, I love the fact that their stripes are both yellow and white.
Their
spots.
Yeah. Absolutely. They sometimes are not. Sometimes they can be all gray, or no, sorry, not all gray, but with only yellow dots or only white dots. This is the probably Ponalense. We still haven't dissected one, but we don't. There are no informations on what they should be. Should look.
Okay.
And so Ponalense are quite similar, just with a whiter skirt and smaller dots.
Okay.
Yeah. I can show you some other. Here are some Collembola from since they requested from the same area near Rufoi.
That looks like a globular springtail.
Yeah,
Cool. Look at the color on that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I should go back and find some more. These are the Tyrolense from Lake Garda, which you should have in the US hobby.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it's got a similar thing going with the pattern is different, but it still has the white and the yellow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you can see the shape, general shape is actually quite different. Even the head, the telson, and the genitalia are very different, which makes us think that they are different species. Here are some millipeds from the area.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, yeah, they are. So you said you keep some pill millipedes as well?
Yeah, just for fun, not breeding them or nothing. Yeah, I like them, so I keep them when I find some cooler ones.
Cool.
These are the spiky ones from Croatia.
Oh, those are amazing. They're spikier
Yeah,
than like Cristalmedilidium that
yeah,
we have in the
yeah,
hobby.
way spikier. Yeah, a bit smaller, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, beautiful.
A bit
The way
smaller
they got
than
babies. No,
Cristalmedilidium, or just a bit smaller on the in general.
no, a bit smaller than Crystal Madelidium. So like they will reach something like half a centimeter.
Okay.
Uh,
Still not bad.
no, not bad, but not even extremely large.
That's
Yeah, so
cool.
here we have some more pictures of Rufoi. These are from the original location. This is a small one.
Oh yeah, like a juvenile probably, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And here's a very grayish one compared to others.
Yeah, that one is pretty gorgeous. It's like
Yeah.
a random pattern, but the contrast reminds me of the
Mhm.
Gestroy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've tried to select them, this coloration, gray one. I will interrupt the share meeting. I've tried to isolate it, but I think that they are all. I've only found males like this.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, I couldn't isolate it.
So that was Rufoi we just saw.
Yeah, before. Yeah.
Okay, I'm putting that in the chat to spell it. I
Hmm.
think that's how you spell Rufoi. Ruffoi, right?
Yeah.
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 Mm, wow. It's amazing. Europe is we have a lot of cool isopods from Asia and different places, but in Europe there's a lot of amazing species that are there. It's incredible.
Yeah, and they are super underrated. Like
Mhm.
when you think about Europe, you think about big Porcellio, like Expansus, stuff like that.
Magnificus, stuff like that.
Magnific, exactly. Which I honestly don't like.
Really?
Yeah, my opinion, but I don't like Porcellio. Some species are very interesting, like the more desert ones, but generally I prefer Armadillidium over Porcellio. And we have other amazing species like some spiky Armadillidium from Mallorca
Mhm.
island, or other more bumpy Armadillidium, huge ones as well, Helleria brevicornis, the biggest isopod able to conglobate. So we have an amazing diversity. But people are more into Cubaris merulanella because they are more colorful and they are more exotic compared to European species, which is okay. It makes sense, but we also have amazing species. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, very underrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some
My
of them,
hope is that with time we will be able to get so many amazing species that they will take over the Merulanella on Asiatic species site, because I think they are very worthy to do so. So hopes are high.
yeah, yeah, it's great that you're getting them breeding and keeping track of the localities and things like that. I
Yeah.
think part of the problem sometimes with getting, for example, European or any other isopods into the hobby is that sometimes the collecting information and the locality information is poor or lacking, or people will mix localities before they even get into the hobby, and then everything gets muddied and we lose the unique qualities of the.
Yeah, that's the problem. We are trying to keep it as with a more scientific approach. So keeping tracks of localities, as you said, distribution, and also sometimes dissecting males to check if they match the papers, all those things that are super important for the growth, for the correct growth of the hobby, and the scientific studies that are often related.
Exactly, and that's the way you find out too. Sometimes you find you have new species because once you do the dissection and say, oh, these genitalia don't match the type species, so we've got something else going on here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. Let's see. All right. So does anybody have other questions about these? Green Jedi Monkey is wondering where to get some besides Italy, because of course can't get them from Italy. But you mentioned the U.S. hobby.
Yeah, so they entered the US hobby. A friend of mine got them from. I will try to find. I think it was Will. I don't know. Like the. I know him from a WhatsApp group. So I don't know. Or Edwin Lopez. I think also got them. Yeah. I think
Lopez,
he got
or
them.
also known as Easy Eddie.
Okay, yeah, him. And they got oh god, it's a quite famous shop in the US.
Like an online shop?
Yeah, an online shop that supplies also, I think, some like stores like Petco or something like that.
Oh, is it Smugbug?
Yeah, Smackback. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think they had Tirolens from another friend from Germany.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat that they're here.
Yeah, absolutely. With the years coming, there will be plenty of species more in your hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we can get some of the regulations eventually changed so that more species are allowed to travel across states and stuff. Because I'm hoping that happens eventually, but we'll see.
Are the regulations applied in all countries in the US, or only in certain ones?
Say that again.
No, are regulations applied in all countries in the US, or just in certain ones?
Well, there are the regulations do vary by state, but it's a federal regulation. The permits that there are currently 21 species that are allowed across state lines with a permit. Just 21 that are allowed across state lines with a permit. Without a permit, you're not supposed to send them across state lines at all. Any of them. And then, well, the thing when I say 21 species, most cubaris are included with as cubaris murina for the purposes of the permit. So
Yeah,
a lot of cubaris can move across state because they're not taxonomically, identified down to species yet. So they sort of get the umbrella protection, but most others can't be transferred across state lines without containment facility. So it's easy to get, say, Porcellio spinicornis or Armadillidium vulgare, something like that. You can get that across state lines with a permit very, very easily. But if you wanted to do some like many that are just very common in the hobby right now, even like Armadillidium gestroi, technically you couldn't across states unless you have a containment facility.
Okay.
Not that it doesn't happen. It does happen.
Yeah, of course.
And I have gestroi, for example, but it's that's how the permitting is right now. It used to be more lenient. For example, Armadillidium gestroi, I believe, is on my initial permit, and Hoffmannsegei and so many others were on my permits to receive them.
Yeah,
but
they changed.
You can't ship them out, so I don't ship them out. Yeah.
Okay, because like they are considered pests or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Considered plant pests because some of them have been documented eating, crops and so on. So that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pity.
Yeah.
I don't think they shouldn't be regulated at all, because otherwise it would be such a mess. But some more like they are not they're absolutely not invasive in most of the cases when you're talking about more specific species, rare species of stuff like that. So yeah, I think they should be a bit more easy to with less strict with regulations.
Yeah, I think we need to basically demonstrate that they're not going to be invasive, and if we could demonstrate that, then we're going to need to put the research in to show that. But we've had quite a few species of creatures exempted from regulation, like many roach species, many hobby roach species, because it's clear that they're not going to be able to establish a population because they can't stand the cold winters and things like that. So maybe someday we can get the isopods the same way. Like, I don't think there are very many isopods from Southeast Asia that could establish themselves in 90% of the U.S. Maybe Southern California, Florida, that kind of place.
But still quite hard. Even European, honestly. Some species have such precise distribution and habitat that it's nearly impossible that they will be able to colonize some other countries.
Yeah, I feel like to a large extent, and this, I know this isn't universal, but to a large extent, the ones that are going to colonize the United States already have, like the Armadillidium and Porcellio and Silisticus, and those that have already done it, they're it's done, it's already happened. And the ones that haven't done it probably wouldn't. Otherwise, they would be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. We are working on a database, global database for isopods with some researchers like Professor Tahiti or Professor Deschumet. I think it's correct, the pronunciation. And it will be very interesting because simply isopods, if you think about it, are everywhere except for the poles. But other than that, they can be found. I'm in the mountains right now, in the Dolomites, and I'm finding isopods at 2,000 plus meters of elevation, which is like I don't know, like 60, 70 feet tall.
Let's see, 2,000 meters.
Yeah, should be
Hmm.
67,
2,000
70 feet.
to feet is oh yeah, like 6,500, over
Oh,
6,500 feet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So they are found everywhere, and they are one of the most important animals for the ecosystem. So they need to be protected and studied more. Even with the hobby helps a lot when when breeding some species which are endangered or
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll kind of see how things change as time
Mhm,
goes on. Well, I guess we're about out of time today.
mhm.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Matteo, before we finish?
I don't think so. I hope it went all good. I hope you liked the isopods, the content. Other than that, I was super happy to be able to participate, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Per me è stato un vero piacere.
Anche per me, piacere mio.
So thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure to check out Matteo on Instagram, and the other one was what was your other link you sent me?
iNaturalist, but
iNaturalist.
when you go to the Instagram, there are also there is also the link for the iNet.
Okay, great. So you can go to that Instagram link, which I put in the chat 3 times now, and it's also been scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And if you just go to Instagram and you do a search for isopods_master, you'll find you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you coming. It's been fun. It's been interesting, and I'm so glad we were able to connect and do this. And maybe sometime in the future we could have you back on again, and you can talk to us about the progress you've made and what you've discovered.
Absolutely, would love that.
Cool. All right. Then we'll see you next time.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.